What does world-class real estate look like to you?
Try to combine old-fashioned traditional estate agent values, but with all the modern tech that can help you move that forward.
Excellent communication is at the heart of what they do.
Great real estate looks like strong leadership.
Consistency.
Thank you to Iceberg Digital for sponsoring the podcast and making all this possible. Hello and welcome to another episode of the World Class Real Estate Podcast. My name is Mark Warren, joined by Macca. How are you, mate?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to this episode. Energy.
Yeah.
This week's energy is coming. Get ready.
We're recording this intro now after we've just finished the podcast, and we've been in the room now for 6 hours. We've recorded four episodes of the podcast, loads and loads of value, but it's fair to say that we were probably flagging a little bit at this sort of time, but not to worry, because today's guest brought loads and loads of energy and bundles more of it as well.
Yeah. John, Mr. Leicester, the estate agent, Mr. TikTok, as he's known around his friends. I'm called Macca, he's called that. But he is going to share on this episode some incredible kind of stories, patterns, habits, things he's stumbled across with influence from someone called Gary Vee. Someone will know. He's going to talk about how he's adopted what he kind of took from Gary Vee. He's brought it into agencies, brought it into the local area, and it's absolutely catapulted all his socials. So really, really insightful one. Get your notepads ready for this one.
Yeah, if you are considering at this stage turning off the podcast, I would recommend that you go onto Instagram, YouTube, check out the numbers that this guy is getting and views on his videos, because they are out of this world. Let's dive in and introduce him.
Welcome to the episode.
Thanks very much, mate. Good to finally meet.
I know. You've gone orange, I go pink.
That's it.
Yeah, it's all
feel
good.
it.
Brings out my eyes.
We love bright colours.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to be seen. Got to be seen.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I'm feeling a bit left out, not in some branded
mate,
gear.
Yeah, fluorescent green.
Yeah.
I got the pink on underneath, but the aircon's on. I got freezing. I got really cold in the room, so I took the video on.
Need to up my game, apparently.
Yeah.
John, massive thank you for joining us.
Yeah, no bother.
Really appreciate your time. We'll start as we always do. What does world class real estate look like to you?
Honest, integrity, gritty, and just straightforward. Like, no fluff. I say this to people when I go and see them. I've been doing this 18 years. This is who I am. If you like it, great. If you don't, no problem. Like, there's other agents out there as well. And that to me is actually world class, because you're just being just dead true to yourself then.
Genuine.
And I think it depends on what you sell and think, like, I sell 3-bed semis in Leicester. Like, if we're brutally honest, we all probably market in a very similar way on the same portals. So then it's about who you get on with and how you get on with that client, and would they recommend you to their nan and stuff like that. And that's sort of the way that I look at things now.
Identity. I think, they say people buy people. I think people buy trust. But what is the identity? I don't like to use the phrase personal brand, but what are you known for? What are you known as? We had Clint on earlier, and he said, you are known as Mr. Leicester.
Proper Leicester. Yeah. So I tend to sell across the estates. So, like, Spit and Sawdust, like, they're a bit rough. Do you know what I mean? So, they've got a reputation for being a little bit rough.
Yeah.
Certainly back in the, 90s and noughties. All down the west of Leicester is pretty much all council estate or ex-council estate. And that's what I deal with. I don't deal massively over 400 grand. If you went through my pipeline now, there's probably 5% of it over 300, probably, to be honest. Mm-hmm. So that is pretty much what I do. Loads of probate sales, stacks of power of attorney, loads of landlords selling, lots of no chain, fairly quick turnaround. City centre markets are brutal. So I guess that comes back to the start in terms of being just, like, dead honest. My missus says I'm, like, too blunt. I just go, people just need to hear it as it is. I'm not here for a 2-hour valuation anymore like I was 18 years ago. I'm there to give them what they want.
Yeah.
I think that's quite important.
I think it's great, though, like, clearly knowing your market. But what's also interesting, you said 18 years in the industry, but then you listed the type, probates, power of attorney type stuff. The landlord selling, asset sales, they aren't the most straightforward of sales always. You have to have a real good take on transactions, legalities to do that. So that's why your niche is there.
Sort of the specialism in that side of things has probably come since I went on my own when I came out of like independent estate agency in 2017. I just started falling on this stuff, and I was like, it's quite interesting. Like I quite enjoy dealing with this, and like when you go into a house, and I'm guessing like the sort of more upper end of the market do it. They walk into one and you get that sort of like flutter. You go, oh, this is nice. Like this is. I am like literally at the other end of that. So it's like if I go in and there's like piss and shit on the floor,
yeah,
I'm like, whoo! And it's like so. But I guess then with dealing with those, you start to then understand the probate market about how it works. So then you're going in with real confidence. I've done a lot of networking over the last like 12, 13 years as well. And I'm a member of a networking organisation now. So, and then one of my best mates is a wills and probate solicitor. So not only do I get business from him, which is great, I've just been to one today, but you also then, I can ask him questions. I understand what's going on. So then when you're sat in the living room, or usually at a probate stood up because there's nothing around, or there's just a commode in the corner that you don't really want to sit on. You're speaking with real confidence at a time when people are very fragile, because we've all been there where you go and you go, I need a probate valuation. I'm like, when's the date of death? And they're like, it's like 2 days ago or something. You're like, oh my God.
My best was this morning.
Yeah.
This morning.
That is a cracker. No, that takes some beating, that does. So yeah, and then just speaking about that in confidence gives them confidence, and you sort of like, most of the time they don't want to deal with any of this. So you're like, I will just deal with it all, and I do this every day.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's sort of, and power of attorney is not too dissimilar really.
Yeah.
But then I think when you're asking questions like, and I can't imagine he's not asking this question now, but I'm guessing I was a valuer at 26. I only started in the industry when I was 24, 25, but I want to know any of this. So when you start this, right, who's the executor? How many beneficiaries are involved? Is there a will in place? Was that will written by a solicitor? Like those sorts of right. How much is in the estate? Have you ever took any inheritance tax advice yet? It instills confidence in terms of what you're doing. And then when you can put them into bat with a specialist in this, a house clearance company, have you told the council yet? Have you sorted all your bills out? Have you done this? Oh no, what do I need to do? Because like people don't know, do they?
Yeah. That's why I say it's not the most straightforward of sales. It's quite a complex one. But where you've got that level of expertise within it, you can reel that off confidently because you know what you're talking about, and it is something that separates you from the others, and therefore gives you justification on the fee that you charge ultimately.
So justification of the fee, and also a lot of estate agents don't like dealing with it as well. As in, probably not so much now. I don't know. Like say 3-4 years ago, everyone was like, we need to go market. We need to like get the high end. Yeah, we all need to like, and don't get me wrong, there's some great agents out there that do that sort of stuff, and I know like the Fine and Country guys, and we've mentioned Luke Sinclair at Knightsbridge or KB as they're now called, and they do a lot of that sort of stuff because that's what it is over that side of the city. And I think for me, the first big-ish sort of LinkedIn influence was Sam Ashdown.
Yeah,
high end. Do you know what I mean? And that's going back 7-8 years ago, because I remember watching her stuff when I first went on my own, and I was a bit like, what do I do? And then I was like, I don't talk right. So,
not for me.
Yeah. But I think that was sort of rammed down people's throats. And I think a lot of agents went that way, and I was like, right, I'm just going to go that way instead.
Yeah.
And that's what works.
Isn't that the great thing about being able to run your own business, though? That you can choose, and you said it right at the start, and you almost said, I know what I am, I know my market, and that works, and it's not going to be for everyone, and that's fine.
Yeah.
That's the world we live in. There's enough business out there for everyone. You specialise on, it's something we've talked about a lot, you specialise in your own niche, and that's, there's nothing wrong with that. You can own that and be really successful with doing that.
It works really, really well, because depending on exactly where it is, but I've grown up in that side of the city, in those houses, those people. As soon as you walk in, like you see a football trophy, you gauge the age. Do you know what I mean? You're like, I used to play for them, and look,
Yeah.
So you're moving in the right market.
Yeah.
And like, you wouldn't open a vegan restaurant in a meat-eating street, would you? Just
Doesn't connect. Yeah.
it doesn't connect with your audience. So you just, instead of doing that, you go, well, that's where the sweet spot is. So go and do it. I've just been, so earlier on today, I was interviewing a guy who used to run a pub on an estate in Leicester called New Parks Estate. It's a proper estate. This pub was built in the 1950s. As the estate was built, he ran it for 16 years, from the late 80s to the early 90s. Perfect. Had a good chat with him, Brian, done an interview, everything. So that'll go out on socials. His missus in the kitchen. She goes, "Your dad?" I'm like, "Yeah." It's like, "Was his name John as well?" I was like, "Yeah." She went, "I think he was friends with my brother." I was like, "What's your brother's name?" She went, "Kev Slater." I went, "Yep, that's my dad." So, like, because we all lived in that sort of area and things like that. And so you think, well, if they ever sell that house, I've been to his house to interview him.
Yeah.
His wife's brother was best mates with my dad.
Yeah.
You're like, you're in. If you lose it, you've done something wrong. Ain't you?
Yeah,
Like, or whatever. But so, yeah, that's sort of the way it works, I guess.
So you talk there, we're seamlessly into content there. So you're interviewing the guy who used to run one of the local pubs to put out on social. Talk us through that.
So that particular one was a bit weird. So last year, there's it depends if people from Leicester here listen to this. There's a road called Aikman Avenue, right? And Aikman Avenue has got these massive 50s built flats, like freaking huge things, like you see in sort of London council areas. They're massive.
Yeah.
They've got communal central heating. Service charges are like £300 a month or something.
Right.
It's bonkers because you don't pay no heating bill. Opposite there was the Good Neighbours pub, and it was like, proper estate pub. It closed down a few years ago, and I was doing a video around there, and it was all barricaded off. And I seen a guy go in, and they're obviously doing something to it. So I collared him, and I said, "Oh, what are you doing to the pub?" He said, "We're turning it into a supermarket." It was like a world supermarket. And I was like, "Can I come and have a look?" So Shad showed me around, the guy who owns this pub. He said, we're doing this. And I videoed him, and I put it on Facebook. And it had like 60,000 views, all these shares. It went nuts. This was last year, to be fair.
Yeah.
Fast forward, Shad messages me, "We've opened. Can you come and have a chat?" I said, "Of course I can." So I went to speak to him, did another world record. It went out on YouTube last week. And as I came out, this car pulled up next to me, wound his window down. He said, "Are you that guy who does them videos?" I said, "Yes, I am." He went, "I'm the former landlord of this pub." I went, "You were the landlord of the Good Neighbours?" He said, "Yeah." I went, "Can I come and interview you?" He went, "I'd love to." And that was it. So then I went and seen him at his house today, had a good chat with him. We reminisced a little bit. He had a bit of a cry. It was wicked. Like, just got some good stories. So then that'll be edited down.
Yep.
So sent out, and then we'll chop it down into shorts, and it will probably go quite well. You can never tell, but yeah.
Yeah, you never know which ones will and which ones won't.
Don't even get me started on that. Me and Clint have conversations about this every single day.
Yeah. Let's sort of dive in on the content side of things, because it's a journey that it's how I got to see you from your content, and more about the fact that you've been using LinkedIn to share how well it's going for you as well. I think the other day you showed 1 million reach on one of your platforms. It might have been TikTok, I'm not sure. But what made you, other than that story there, what made you commit to going, actually, I'm going to do this, not just because one got 60,000 views, which in a roundabout way is great, but agents will go, well, what does that mean? But the compound effect of doing it habitually has obviously resulted in a lot of business and your own personal sort of brand identity as well. So what's the theory behind it? What are the results looking like now?
Yeah,
as well?
so it's a bit of theory and a bit of luck.
Yeah.
So the theory behind it is Gary V, and everything that he does. I love him. He's like my man. I guess we can dive in on what he talks about in a bit. The luck bit was I got invited to a charity event at the start of April, and it was in the city centre, and I was suited and booted, which I don't really feel overly comfortable in, but it's one of them dues you've got to go to, and the food was nice. But I had a run the next, I think it was the next morning. I had a 50k in. That's a nice little simple 50k.
Yeah, nice warm up.
Yeah, nice warm up. The next morning, So I bailed out at about 10:30. And I walked down towards the clock tower in Leicester City Centre. And then from the clock tower is a road called Churchgate. And it's like, it was pub, bar, club central 2000 to 2010. And it was dead. Like, super dead.
Right.
And I literally got my phone out and I'd had the TikTok account for about 2 weeks and just did a video in Leicester City Centre. And I think it's, the top is Leicester City Centre at night is dead or something like that is the hook. I didn't even know what hook was really 3 months ago, and just pressed posts. And I woke up in the morning and I had 70,000 views. It's just hit 1 million on Instagram.
Wow.
And 400,000 on TikTok and X amount on Facebook as well. And that was sort of like,
Yeah, the light bulb.
that was the penny drop. And I was like, whoo, like, I've just had 70,000 eyes for nothing. So that happened. Then I start diving on Gary Vee, and he's been doing a lot of content recently about interest media as opposed to social media.
Okay.
So social media used to be you build your following, you market, and that following see it. The way the algorithms have changed now, which is because of TikTok, you now get shown what you're interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the followers certainly like, don't matter. It helps. Like, so then I'm like diving in. Well, what happens when this happens? You get into a bit of a YouTube hole and stuff like that. All kept coming back to Gary Vee, and he's telling people like on podcasts, how many times you post on LinkedIn today, business to business? Oh, like 1. He says you need to do 5, and then he's like to then agents and B2C. He's like just keep posting. Like you cannot post too much because the more you see, the algorithms love it.
Just compounds.
Just keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going. So then I sort of just kept making really short, quick videos. Clint actually said to me, because I did one, and it was me walking down a street called Cranmer Street. It was like, John, your knowledge of like that just one street, if I lived on that street, I would use you based off what you've just said about that street, knowing that the bathrooms go off the bedroom in that side of the road and that side of the road they're a little bit bigger. And then we're back and forth in on WhatsApp. And I'm like, well, there's like 10,000 streets just in one postcode or whatever. So I'm like, I've got like 10,000 days of content there if I do one street a day. And I was like, what if I do 2 streets a day? And then what if I do 3 streets a day? And then what if I start talking about this and stuff? And then I said, I'm just going to post like everything.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And that's where it's come from.
That is literally where it's come from. And then, like anything, you start to see success.
Yeah.
Videos go crazy.
Yeah.
You try and judge one. You think, I'll send this one out on this day at this time, and it flops. You send another one out at 1 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon that you just think, bang, and it goes, whoosh! And you're like, oh. So then you think of all these social media strategists, and you're like, well, you need to post minimum 3 times a week. I'm like, you may as well not bother if you're posting 3 times a week on organic. You may as well not bother.
Yep.
So I'm like, do you know what? I'm not cleverer than the algorithm. So just keep posting.
And the algorithm probably is ever changing as well.
So it's doing itself off the top.
It's just learning all the time. But what a great strategy to just stumble across.
Yeah. Literally stumble across.
Proper. I'm like, and look, I'm not overly techie, but thankfully I'm pretty handy on camera in terms of I don't like do 10 takes, 12 takes, 15 takes. Now I wasn't at the EXP conference a few weeks back, but Sam Cerrone has smashed social media in a totally different way to me. And I've seen some of her clips and stuff, and probably not so much now, but I know she was saying, I did like 20 takes for my first one and stuff like that. Okay, thankfully, I'm pretty quick, but yeah, it comes with practice, doesn't it?
But also, you're talking very much about things you know.
Yes.
You know, talking about a street that you know. Yeah. Talking about an estate you know.
Yeah.
That's great. Clint was on earlier. He was talking about the FAQs, just questions. But you know the answer to the question. It's way easier.
Loads easier. And I think that's where not just agents, I think businesses in general get caught up in like, oh no, he's telling me I need to do 10 posts a day. What do I talk about? Mm-hmm. Anything. I'm doing a bit of work with a car guy. He's like, we need to do some videos. I'm thinking this. I'm like, John, don't think. His name's John as well. Don't think. Just do. Like, just do one about that indicator on the car, or do. And then it got a bit weird. And I like, there's an estate in Leicester called Braunston, and it's got the bypass of the outer ring road that basically runs straight through the middle of it. It split the estate in like 19 whatever.
Might have been where your house was.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
And then what happened was it's a busy road, and unfortunately, I found you find loads of stuff out as well, like loads of really interesting stuff. A girl got killed crossing the road after it had been split through the estate, so they dug 2 underpasses. So I just did this video on Gallard's Hill underpass, right? And it's a bit funny and a bit bonkers. I put a traffic cone on my head and stuff like that. And it got 50,000 views and about 140 odd followers and stuff. I was like, that's interesting. So now it's like I do tunnels, bridges, alleyways, roundabouts. And then I did one on an electric substation. It was like 15 seconds long and it got like 4,000 views on TikTok. I did one the other day. It got 20,000 views on TikTok, me talking about electric substation in Weston Park.
Why do you think it is? Do you think it's your personality? Because you've got very engaging, confident personality. You're talking about things you know. Do you think people are just engaged with that, or they're just interested in the subject?
You've got to be a bit of a weirdo if you're interested in electric substations. But
there's plenty of weird people, though.
There is. I think it's the location, because people. It's resonating, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like
they recognise.
I know where that is.
Yeah.
So like, and do you know what I mean? You can be a bit clickbaitish with some of your hooks and stuff like that. Like, this is big enough to put a house on. Oh, is it? What is? It's an electric substation. You're not really going to knock the thing down and build a house there. But the plot is massive in real prime real estate. So that's the one that went crazy. And yeah, I've done a lot of studying over that last couple of months as well. Like, if you look at the ones I was doing literally just 3 months ago compared to now, they're totally different. They're very like TikTok-ish, so really quick cuts. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I'm saying a sentence about a street, it'll be, and this street cut, over here cut. It's like really
fast engagement,
proper, to keep the engagement. So I think that helps. But I just think people knowing it and just being interested. Green screen, did a load of those. Did some on like old nightclubs in Leicester, over 100,000 views. Didn't even leave my living room.
So they're getting loads and loads of views. What does that look like in terms of business? And what are you mentioned a couple, this many thousand views. What does that look like? Are you getting stopped in the street?
Yeah.
I know Clint had said he's known as Mr. Leicester. Talk about the actual results and the business side of that.
So business side, then those leads are starting to come through now in terms of people literally messaging me direct on TikTok and on Facebook and on Instagram for advice and for valuations as well. If I go back through this week, there's been several. The spin-off is sometimes when they don't actually ring or come in touch with you from the socials, but then they realise who you are.
Yeah.
The one this morning, booked it in from a referral. He then said my name, who's coming to see me, to his missus, who's in her late 60s. She went, I know that name. Is it this guy? Like, yeah. She says, I've been watching him. Watch these. And then when I went to the house today, he said, you know that video you did about the chip shop? I'm like, this is gold. This is like,
you're not missing out on that instruction, are you?
Yeah. And it's a more interesting appointment because they're talking about stuff that I've already done, but then it's interesting to me because they've got different takes on it. So he said, I used to live down there where St Leonard's Church was. So my grandma got married in St Leonard's Church. I said, was there houses behind there? He went, yeah, there was houses there. I said, I did not know that. They are, John. There's another video for you. I'm like, yes.
Yeah. Make a note.
Yeah. So yeah, that's on the business side. Bearing in mind, I've committed, it was April the 4th or 5th. So it's not been that long. Yeah. So obviously there's not loads of houses always going up for sale in that time. The stopping in the street thing is a bit weird.
So that happens.
Lots. Like I was walking through Aldi and this guy was over from Dubai, originally from Leicester, and he stopped me. He went, you that guy off TikTok, I love your videos. I was like, oh, cheers, mate. And he was quite engaging. So I was like, would you do a video now? So he did a video with me and Aldi.
About what?
I asked him what his favourite videos were, and he said, I like looking at the old nightclub ones and because it's retro feel. Then, when I posted it, it went onto Instagram. Turns out he used to be a teacher at one of the schools, so loads of his old students were jumping on, were like, oh, it's Mr. Harry, whatever. So that then obviously gets the engagement going.
Yeah, because the comments are going, yeah.
Yeah, so that happens. I went to... I get requests as well. So people go, can you do this street?
Love that. Yeah, great.
So that's quite cool.
It's powerful.
So I went to do this street. It's a mainly housing association street, so there's not business necessarily to be had there immediately, but you don't know who they know, do you, and stuff. I went onto this street, and a lady came out some flats. She went, oh, cool videos, I like them, thanks for that was it. Then I came back round the corner, and this other guy came out of his house, like literally specifically, oh, John, it's whatever his name is, this is my handle on TikTok. I was like, oh, wicked, thanks for supporting me, thanks for the comments, stuff like that. And then this other lady, who happens to have 40,000 followers herself on TikTok, was out the front of her house, said, hi, you all right? And then I sort of recognised her, but I better not say anything just in case. And she said, oh, my kids love your videos. It's like, and I love them as well. Thanks for doing them. Thanks for coming to this street. Her daughter, who's probably about 10, walked out the house with phone in her hand, looked into her phone, looked up, put her hand over her mouth and was like, Mum,
it's the guy.
Look who it is. We love your tunnel videos. Can we get some photos, please? So they're having the photos. And then I said to them, I said, can they come in the video? So they went in the video and finished with my little catchphrase that I do and stuff like that. And that's happened a few times. So I've had a few people in videos,
Nice.
like at the ends of the videos. And yeah, loads of when are you coming to do our street? And like, when you feel people looking.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I had a comment on the other day. It was like, were you in Sainsbury's earlier? I was like, yeah, I was. She was like, I thought it was you, but I didn't want to come over and say anything. I said, oh, you should have done. I said, well, you down the bread aisle? She went, yeah, I was. I was like, I knew you were looking at me. Like,
Good guess.
yeah. So, yeah, it's been pretty cool like that. And I guess it's a bit, Chris Watkins is quite big on that sort of line.
Yeah.
Talk about be the mayor of your town and talk about house prices and talk about what's going on here because that's what house sellers are interested in. And I get that. I think houses are really boring as a subject unless you are moving then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right, yeah.
You have to make a local page that's relevant when you're not moving. Totally agree.
So.
Yeah, I totally agree.
How many people... So let's say, right, of the houses that come to the market in January of 26, how many of them are thinking of moving now? I don't think there's that many.
Oh, I reckon there is.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
But in terms of are engaging in house moving content right now, I don't think there's... Right, there's certainly less than there is that are interested in what's happening in Leicester as a whole and harping back to their previous generation.
Well, we said, didn't we? If there's a room full of 100 people in the UK and you ask how many of those people are on the market in that moment, probably about 3 or 4.
Yeah.
In 100. And then if you were to say who's interested in moving in the next 6 months, it might get up to 8 or 9, around that sort of number. So we're talking a real small margin of a potential target audience, really. Yeah. So I get what you're saying. And I totally agree with you on the content things. People in agency don't realise how powerful it is when you're making local relevant content. Yes, market statistics in there in a fun, friendly way, but also the local business interviews that you've been talking about here. So much power in those. If there's a new business opening, getting in there and interviewing the owner, finding out why, what's the purpose, and connecting it and getting it in the Facebook groups and stuff like that. There's so much power in that for sure.
Yeah, it's massive. I mean, I think is it something like 4% of houses get sold each year? So, I mean,
you're building fans, aren't you?
Yeah. So if I can get to let's say I get to 20,000 followers on Facebook, they're not all going to be homeowners. Let's say half of them are, and so that's 10,000. So that's what's that? 400. 400.
It's a lot of business. It's a lot of business.
Potential. Yeah. So do those videos matter if they're about houses, as long as they've got John Ghent estate agent written above them, which is what my handle is on Facebook.
And is all of the stuff that you're doing at the moment organic? You're not doing any paid?
No paid.
Wow. So is all of this, I think you said before we jumped on camera, 500,000 views?
Just on Facebook in the last 2 days.
In the last 2 days. Which you're doing local stuff, so the majority of people watching are local people, right?
Obviously, in your insights, you can go and see where they're all from
as
well.
Yeah.
And interestingly, the biggest demographic is 35 to 44 or whatever Facebook measures it. And I thought it was going to be a bit older than that, to be honest, like the Facebook generation. But I'm probably a Facebook person first, like at 41. So, yeah, I thought that was quite interesting. I canned all of my print advertising 3 months ago, and I got like the guy sort of saying, "Oh, what about the older demographic?" I was like, "Mate, they're on frigging Facebook. You're the older demographic. Because you think Facebook's for around 20 years."
Yeah.
So if you were on Facebook when you were 50, you're still on it when you're 70.
Yeah.
You'd
be surprised how many of the older generation are on TikTok and Instagram as well, you know?
Yeah.
Just scrolling, you know?
It's mad. So, like I say, I think, I don't know, it's like, I'd rather have 20,000 people following me about non-house content, throwing the odd little bit in. But the key is that my face is there and it says John Ghent estate agent right over the top of every video they view. I'll tell you what, as soon as I put a house one out, even if I find it really interesting about the market, like 900 views compared to 20,000 on a substation.
Maybe we're selling the wrong stuff.
Substation, because it's nostalgia. That's all it is. Really, people remembering. I did a long form one. I've not cracked YouTube yet. It's a hard old beast, YouTube. But I did a long form one walking down a particular street, which was really well known as like a pub crawl into town. Literally every pub's gone. Everyone. There's one technically still going, but it's in like a new form now. And that just went like crazy, like 400 shares on Facebook.
It's crazy how those sort of things just kick off and erupt. So for you as a self-employed agent now, partnered up with EXP, in how you're able to do this side of things, because you're now able to just be out on the road doing your own thing without, a high street office that you've got to have open and stuff like that. Do you think that's been a big part of that transition as well, going self-employed and being able to embrace the time to do this? Because it does take a fair bit of time, some of this stuff.
Yeah, it does. Like, I mean, depending on what I've got on during the day, I'm sometimes in an estate at 6 recorded.
Right.
I've got to be a bit quieter then. I can't go shouting down the street like I do during the day. It definitely helps because, do you know what I mean, you're not busy in an office all the time, are you? Mm-hmm. But you've still got to sit there.
Yeah.
And I think that's the big one for me. I mean, so I had an agency myself before I went under EXP. But even then, there's still problems crop up and people trying to get hold of you and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Even though you've not got a physical office, you have that sort of air responsibility that you need to just be sat there watching what they're bloody doing and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's a much more fluid lifestyle, definitely. Because I'll sometimes think, I've got a really busy day today. And when you smash stuff out in 3 hours and you're like, yes. I'm like, great, I've got 4 hours now. I can just like get out and sort of get it all recorded, get all the drafts ready, and then they're just parked then, just ready to go. Just don't overthink it.
Yeah, just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah, like, action. I mean, Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, it was a big part of my content strategy when we launched Avocado as well, because you listen to him, volume, engagement, the power of it. You can't help but engage with what he's saying 100%. Because it worked for him. What was he to be a social media influencer in what he does? But, it really did kind of... And then I think he sort of went underground a little bit for like 18 months, and then he sort of resurfaced a little bit, and it just shows the power of what you can do with your brand.
He's engaging, obviously. Like me, he swears a little bit and like jumps around. He is an engaging guy. Have you got to be overly sort of theatric to do it? I dare say not. Do you know what I mean? Like you can. I think the key is to find your own style.
Be authentic, isn't it?
Yeah. Be you. Do you know what I mean? I am quite gregarious and out, and like, I think this might be a bit serious, but like, if I go back to 2008 when I started the estate agency, like literally the last 100% mortgage got removed like a week before I started. Everything's like great.
Cheers.
Yeah, good effort. I think estate agents then at negotiator level probably had a bit more about them, as in, I don't know, just a bit more oomph. you weren't paid much, so you had to. It was like, if you didn't fight, you didn't eat. So you became a bit more sort of gregarious and a bit more because you were racing to the phone and stuff like that. So, I mean, the fittest survived, and that's what it bred.
2008, I mean, you know, when things all crashed and
Phone wasn't ringing.
Well, no, you had to make it. You had to make it ring, didn't you? So,
it's why people, especially people that got into it then, rather than if you got into it in 2005, you were in trouble in 2008.
Yeah.
If you got into it in 2008, by 2014, you were living the dream. Like, this is piss.
This is quite easy.
I could do this.
So, and I think more estate agents that are, if they're in that sort of independent model, or dare I say corporate model, they're a bit dry, probably, because it's like, let's be honest, if you're a corporate estate agent, a lot of it is fed to you. Like, there's no pulling away from that. If you're like Connells William H. Brown, you're not like out networking at 6 a.m. Probably not. There's going to be the odd one that then goes, you know, I can do this myself.
Yeah.
So the opportunity, therefore, is massive to stand out now, because I can compete now with Connells and William H. Brown and Spencer's, and you can, because it's there, but you just got to go and do it.
What they have in size is brand awareness.
Yes.
What you're doing is creating brand awareness, but on a different, more engaging way. So it's not like they're just driving past loads of boards and offices and connecting with it and seeing the leaflets through the door. What you're doing is putting the video content out, so you're bringing people in as well, rather than just bypass, you know, brand awareness. It's the most powerful reach that, you know, a property professional could do. And like you said, our subject of conversation isn't the most engaging.
No.
So although people love a little bit of an update on, you know, the market and things like that, to take the take that you've done, you know, is really interesting, because you just obviously got that local connection, as you can see. And it's actually not been that long you've been doing it really in that way
It's
either.
a bit scary, because I'm like, I'm not even going to say if I keep this up, because why wouldn't I now?
Yeah.
But like, what's Christmas going to look like? Like in another 5 months' time?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like, no idea. I'm getting messages every day from like businesses saying, do you fancy coming to do one here? I'm like, yep, cool. I don't know when, because like I'm backed up. I've got like a little book in there of all the streets that have been requested, and it's like a full page of A4.
Yeah.
That's
mental.
Street? Can you come and do this street? And then when I do it and put it out, they're like, we missed you. I'm like, well, you will. I was there at 6:10 this morning, or like, and they're like, okay, fair enough. So I'll come back. Don't worry. Like, so
Local celebrity.
yeah, which is again, that goes back to the Chris Watkins thing of
Yeah,
being known.
yeah.
But I guess I've just like stuck steroids on it and just whoosh, like, because again, I think house content is really boring. So like, you know that Panorama program last night? Whether we're allowed to talk about it, I don't know. But let's talk about it anyway.
We've been talking about it all day. You sat.
Fine. Okay, that's all right then. Won't change the public's opinion or perception of Connells, you know. I don't think enough people will see it. Who watches telly now? We did. I didn't.
Yeah, because we all knew it was on, didn't we?
Yeah, so I did a little video before on it, and I actually said I would never have known, and I would never have watched it, and it would never have been anywhere near. If I wasn't in the industry, it would never have been anywhere near. I would.
What will happen with it though is when someone asks in a Facebook group to recommend an agent, people will tag it in.
Yeah.
They'll say, look at this, don't use Connells because.
Yes.
So it won't necessarily be a case of what happens today, the day after. It will be probably for 6 or 9 months, the fact that some people will remember it and they'll struggle on that. Or if someone's down the pub and says, oh yeah, I'm going on the market next month. What agent did you use? Someone will go, don't use that Connells. It will get you in a negative way that you don't realise.
Yeah, because I guess some people will see it on social media even if they've not watched it.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. So you can share. You could that. It no doubt it already has been clipped up and shared on
100%. And you know full well that there's going to be agents like. How many Connells balls are going to get touted today?
Yeah, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
Did you watch BBC last night?
Did you watch that last night? And they'll go, no.
Yeah. I mean, tout letters. People will be typing those up today, won't they? Sending them out.
And they'll think it's the golden bullet.
Yeah.
They'll think we will go and hit all these Connells boards. Be interesting to see, actually, won't it? What the Connells market share looks like in.
Well, we said as well, didn't we, on an earlier episode, that the best thing that we can do with this is, as agents or competing agents with Connells, if you are, is not to talk about that. not to be negative about them, is to go, right, let's do the opposite. So share your transparency, share what you're really strong at.
Be you.
That just so happens to kind of show the opposite of that, because that's how you can build your own personality back up. You're doing it in a content way of volume, local connection, Mr. Leicester. But if you've got a competing agent, in this case in Oxfordshire, where the main branch was, and you're an Oxfordshire agent, your content should be geared around being honest and transparent. And the core values that you mentioned when Mark asked what world-class real estate looks like to you, and you went boom, 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 boom. Those are the things that you want to get across as your brand identity.
Yeah, so that when you go through the front door, people trust you.
Yeah.
You said be you, and we talked about that a little bit. I think one of the problems of that programme is that was them being them. That corporate, we've talked about the ability that you can go and get brand awareness really easily on social media, fairly easily. Let me offend you.
No.
On social media.
Can do it.
Yeah, in a quick time. The big corporates challenge with that they have a challenge with personal brand. They're going to push people and all of that. But that episode might have been an extreme version of them, but culturally, that's what they are.
Yeah.
They're driven to do the upsell as well as the house sales, not just either or. And I think that's the problem. How it affects the industry, I guess only time will tell. Hopefully, it means that maybe some people at government make some changes, or people sit up and see that actually, if you pay nothing to sell your house with purple bricks, then, well, shock horror, you're going to get a nothing service as well. Where do you stand on fees and that side of things? Does this content and the fact that these people recognise you and are stopping you in the street give you the ability to charge better fees?
Don't get as much. I'm not going to call it pushback. That I've already won the business a lot of the time before I go through the front door.
Yeah, of course.
But I advertise my fees, so that's what I charge.
Yeah, right.
So, look, I've been networking for 12, 13 years, and obviously I do this now. A lot of, probably like all your guys' agents and a lot of the personal agents now, a lot of their business is on repeat and recommendation. Like, I hate the one of four now. You go in and you're like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah, trying to pitch.
Yeah, I'm like, could do without this today. Do you know what I mean? Like, whereas you used to thrive on that when you were like at Frank and his Countrywide in Leicester City Centre with me shitty briefcase and crap suits. Like, I'm going into battle. Like, now I don't want to battle now. I want to go down the beach somewhere. So and have a chat with someone. So yeah, I think the quality of appointment improves quite a lot. So I'm going to one on Thursday, which has come direct from TikTok, 100%. Messages back and forth, quite friendly. And I'm also clocking her liking my videos over the last few days. So you think, that should be a good appointment. Never count your chickens, but it should be a really strong appointment. Yeah, because we'd rather go to instructions than appointments, wouldn't we?
So conversion rate then.
Conversion,
if fees are the same, then it's different. But conversion rate.
Yeah, fees are the same in terms of that's what I pitch, and you tend not to get a pushback, really. I went to one a few weeks ago that, again, was from TikTok, and mum is selling. Sons were both there. Both like proper Leicester boys. You sort of go in, and I went in like this. And then they were like, "Oh, gotta be honest, John, it's been quite nice." Like, I was a bit unsure of that, and estate agent coming first, thinking, "Is he going to be really stuffy?" And like, you're not. We went into like their back room. Their dad had passed away, and there's a big Leicester City fan, and I clocked a picture, and I was like, "Oh, that's that game, isn't it?" It was just a picture of a crowd, but I knew what match it was because I was at it as well. So they were like, "Frig it, yeah." He's like, "How do you know that?" And I pointed at this bloke. And I said, because that shirt is from that year. Massive crowd. They went, "That's my dad."
Oh, weird.
That is weird.
I was like, "No way." He was like, yeah. And then, ma'am, he's just pointed dad out on this pic. So that was an instruction.
Yeah.
I didn't close it there and then. She wanted to go and view a bungalow. She needed to make sure it's right. I mean, it's a house where her husband lived with her until 2 years ago when he passed away. Use WhatsApp all the time. Literally got a message 4 days, 5 days later. "John, we've been to view the bungalow. We're ready to put the house on the market." No chase. I use Agent Connect. I use Luke's
Yeah.
system, which is fabulous.
Yeah, great system. Great
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Because I've got some, like my dad works with me, and then I've got a virtual assistant overseas, and we all...
I was going to ask you actually, kind of as a sort of a final piece of the episode, what the scalability looks like for you with this kind of new traction of familiarity that you're getting locally. What, you know, if it does continue at this rate in a year's time, what the kind of strategy might be around that. It might be something you've not even thought about at this stage, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I've got a bit of a prior experience having had an agency for 5 years. I'm never hiring another member of staff again.
Yeah.
Never. I stand by that. For a few reasons. One is the cost of employing someone now is very high.
Yeah. Got a nice fly on the
I have,
podcast.
yes.
Yeah. I just
No flies on you.
just came down here actually. Down my,
I guess to touch on it very quickly, like when I started in 2008, I took a pay cut to 12 grand to go into corporate estate agency with a kid and a house. I didn't own the house, but we were renting. If someone now goes in at 21, 22, they're on 25 grand a year, probably still living at home. They don't need to earn that to live at home. So they actually don't need to earn any commission. So I question the drive of entry-level staff. Not all, but some. So I'm never hiring again. Best thing I ever did was hire a virtual assistant overseas. He's absolutely amazing. I've got two, actually. One does all the video editing. Not the short form stuff. I do all of that myself. There's the odd one that he does, but the long form he does, chops up into shorts for me, posts it. Amazing.
schedules as well, brilliant. Yep.
Yeah, so he does it all. So basically, the system on that side of things. So that's why. So in terms of the content system, that can keep going forever now.
Yeah.
So basically, I will long form video goes to one VA. He edits, gets ready for YouTube, posts, then chops it up into shorts or reels. I sign them all off. He then posts them across TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And then my other virtual assistant, I record in TikTok, save it to my camera roll as I post it with the caption. I then send them both to him on WhatsApp. He then runs it through ChatGPT for captions for Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube Shorts and post them. So I only have to actually post to TikTok. That's it.
Yeah.
He posts over. So that scalability is fine. My dad works with me. He's like 64 and has been in agency for 10 years. He was a kitchen and bathroom salesman before. Useless on the computer, but a really personable guy. So he does a lot of the viewings and things like that. Obviously, he's not going to work forever. Do I want to scale to Teams model? Probably not. Probably not. I sort of had a bit of a flirt with it over the last few days, but not too fussed about it really. I probably would just take on more virtual assistants.
And maybe up the fees. And
I guess, and probably be a bit more, not turning stuff away, but standing firm and just picking the stuff.
Picking the clients as well that you're going to use, which is a great place to be.
And then I guess sort of thinking aloud, like what happens if I get to 20,000 followers on Facebook, 25, 30, and because my content isn't all house related, people don't follow me for house related content. You follow me for Leicester nostalgia related content. Is there something there? I have no idea. No idea. So yeah, I guess I can probably handle
Career in politics?
maybe. Well, funny enough,
Mayor.
straight up. So someone said to me, mentioned it on Facebook about you should be mayor of Leicester. So I made like a bit of a spoof video that went mad. An MP of Leicester East got into contact with me and wants to have a chat about like just stuff in general. And I'm like, but then my missus is like, no way, that'd be a frigging nightmare of you mayor of Leicester. I was like, and I thought to myself, do you know what though? I don't know what the bloody job involves, but you think like the mayor of Leicester at the minute, you don't really see him. You're like, is he from Leicester? It's like, you just think, does it need someone? I mean, look at the guy in Hull that's just won the reform candidate. Yeah, a boxer. Do you know what I mean? But and it just shows how.
Look at Trump.
Well, it just shows how powerful social media is.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So Trump has won 2 elections on the back of social media, and and just telling the people what they want to hear. Whether that's right or wrong, don't know. The reform situation at the moment, let's be honest, a lot of it is fueled by social media and very, very narrow content.
Mm-hmm.
But it's what people want to hear.
Yeah.
And if you flip that into estate agency, you go, just talk about stuff that people want to talk about.
I think, is it Ant Middleton that's running for like Mayor of London?
Yeah, he is. Or it's been like
flirted about.
And like, when I'm laying in bed at night and I was sort of just like thinking, I'm like, if I ran for Mayor of Leicester, like, could I win as an independent?
Give it another year of your socials.
Yeah,
you know?
maybe, yeah.
You don't know, do you?
Yeah,
because generally speaking, the people that follow me on social media are very like Leicester-based
normal people
that probably don't vote for mayor at the moment.
Yeah.
It's how Brexit happened, wasn't it? They got the people out that don't vote at all to vote to leave. So you think, oh, that's interesting.
We'll see.
I'll tell you what, the tunnels and the roundabouts would be nice.
Yeah. If you get that bling, the mayor bling, you got to come back on the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be class.
We'll see you in a year.
Yeah. Mayor by day is estate agent by night. Yeah.
Love that. John, it's been great, like catching up, talking about things social, and for estate agents to like obviously watch it. We've spoke about where to go, but you on LinkedIn, in fairness, you are sharing more to the estate agent audience.
Yeah.
Some of the results that you're having as well. So I definitely suggest if you are an agent listening to check that out, because you're being quite open with the results you're having on LinkedIn, which is great.
Well, it's not hard. It's just it's hard to commit
To make it a habit.
So I guess parting shot from me is Clint and I were at some training together, and we were talking video and stuff like that in a group, and two agents there were like, we've not quite found the right videographer yet, and me and Clint were just like, oh God, like, you know what I mean? Just like,
hello,
you right videographer's there. Yeah, he's like, it's in your pocket at the moment. It's just excuses. So I think
Done bit's perfect.
yeah, if I was either starting the estate agency again, or I was coming fresh and self-employed, or for whatever reason my traction or my leads were down or whatever, and even if not, just post on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and YouTube Shorts 10 times a day for 3 months, and join a networking group that works in your area, and you might not see results straight away because we know estate agency is slow business, but yeah, I can't.
You'll get there.
Yeah, but you certainly get eyes on you. And once you've got eyes on you, you've got half a chance, haven't you?
Yeah. Then it's up to you. Then you've got to be the agent. Yeah. Love that.
Amazing. Thank you, John.
No problem.
A massive thank you to John Ghent from EXP for joining us. We said on the intro, Ian, that was going to be full of energy. It was quite a long episode because the man is very, very passionate about what he does.
Yeah, I mean, he believes in what he's doing. He's getting the results from what he's doing. Estate agents will listen to this and half of them will go, I absolutely bloody love it. Estate agents will listen to this on the other half and they'll go, absolutely no way that I'm ever doing that.
Yeah,
I've got a cone on my head walking down a tunnel. But, everyone knows their market, and that's, if we go right back to the first 5 minutes, that guy knows his market, knows his target audience, knows who he likes to work with, and he's found a niche for it, and it works.
And he's thick enough skinned to say, if I'm not right for you, then that's all right. And I think there is something in that is really very valuable that you probably only get from experience in this industry. When you start out on day one, you want everyone to like you, and you want to be everything to everyone. He is not being everything to everyone, but to his niche, he is, what I would say, those videos are getting a lot of traction. He will have some very powerful influence within his own niche, I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. It does not surprise me one bit that he's talking about maybe one day being the mayor of Leicester, because he just knows it. He lives and breathes it, is generational, connections in the area. That's amazing for estate agents when you do that. That's why I hate it sometimes with the corporate agents, where they bounce the local people around too much and move you out of your marketplace. You find your marketplace like that, and it's much easier to win. I'm not saying you can't lose, because everyone can lose. It's much easier to win. So I love that story. I love the content. We were having a quick look on TikTok and looking at some of the videos that he's done. Haunted house one, brilliant. But they're going viral, you know, and he's getting his brand out there. He loves that wearing that orange top as well.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of those he's got in the wardrobe, but I'm sure there's a few. But that's his identity. That's who he is. That's the guy that he is, and he just carries on doing it habitually, really strong, using VA systems, and it works.
Yeah,
So,
and interestingly enough, that he was saying he's been there. He doesn't want a team. He wants to keep doing it this way. So it'd be really. He's the type of guy who, if he carries on, would be really interesting to get back on the show in 6 months, 12 months. He might be involved in politics then. Who knows? But it'd be a really interesting story to follow. I'm certainly going to be following now on social, because I'll be honest, I'd not heard of him before he came on the podcast. I look at it now and think, crikey, I'm not quite sure how.
yeah, I mean, if you live in Leicester, you probably have heard of him.
Exactly.
If you're outside of it, maybe not, and that's because he's great at finding his target audience. So, no, thank you, John, for coming on and sharing your pearls of wisdom there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, massive thank you. As you know, we do this because we love our industry. We want to see it improve and get better. If you have enjoyed today's show, please share it out on social, share it with colleagues. Thank you to John. Thank you very much to Iceberg Digital for sponsoring today's episode. I'm Mark Worrell. He's Ian Macbeth. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again next week.